Welcome everyone to VIP pre-market prep. Well, I was gone the last couple days, last of my personal days off for at least 6 months, so that'll be great to be back with you every single day. So what happened? We bounced off the 200-week moving average on the SPY. We've been talking about this for months. It was 4 weeks in a row that it's interacting with that 200-week moving average. It was touch and go, faked out a couple times. But now it looks like last couple of days, a strong bounce off that 200-week moving average. So two options. One is just a bear market rally. The other option is the bottom is in, right? So we're not going to know that until well after the fact. Personally, my bias is that the bottom is not in, but you never know. It's certainly possible. So now that we're in a bear market rally, do we keep on going up and to next resistance levels, or do we go back down and retest that 200-week moving average? So let's look at a couple options. First of all, you see the 20-day moving average right here. That's at about 365 or so. So I think we have a little bit of support there. To the upside, I see resistance at 378, the bottom of this candle, 387, the 50 DMA. You also have resistance at 390. These are all levels that it's possible to move to in a bear market rally. And also in the past, with a bear market rally, we actually hit the 200-day moving average all the way to that declining 200-day moving average. All of these targets from, just above here to 414 and dropping are possible even in a bear market rally. So the question is, how far do we get? Again, if it is a bear market rally, how far do we get until we go back and test the 200-week moving average? We don't know. We just got to play that by ear. But those are your possible targets, the upside. And hey, it's possible 2 days is all we get out of it. Now, I'll tell you this. The analysis that we got from Avi in our room for the usually I don't like his analysis, but this time he was pretty definitive, right? And it matched with the 200-week moving average we're looking at. So that was a cool signal to see two different approaches, a technical analysis matching. So that was very useful. So hopefully we'll get continued contributions in our VIP trading room on that analysis from Avi. And maybe we'll get another signal on where the top can be. But at this point, it's a bear market rally. Now, what fueled it? It was obviously financials had a couple good days last week. I forgot which financial it was, had good earnings, and that was expected, right? I went into my couple days off Sunday night telling you guys we're expecting good earnings from financials because of the net interest margin is pretty high. So Goldman Sachs did very well. That was to be expected. Now, I want to point out something. First of all, Lockheed Martin did great. One of the best days, and we talk about that a lot in our community. It was never officially presented. So if you happen to be in Lockheed Martin, congrats on one of the best days ever that stock had. Now, Netflix, very interesting, because Netflix, if you recall, a Netflix earnings miss or guidance miss some, 6 months ago, really kicked off this bear market in earnest, right? In the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. That was really the trigger. And that was because people were starting to worry about consumer discretionary spend. So because Netflix was the trigger for that, deservedly or not, it becomes a poster child. It becomes a gauge for sentiment on when the market can turn around. So Netflix yesterday reported better than expected earnings, and they had growth again, right? For the first time after a couple quarters of declines, they grew by a few million subscribers, something like that, and now the stock is up sharply. So there's a possibility here that this positive sentiment, because Netflix is now the gauge, right? Whatever caused the decline, there's a concept I use a lot in sentiment and assessing sentiment in psychology. Whatever caused that decline, when that reverses, that can change the market sentiment. So that's a possibility here in terms of a clue that this bear market rally can keep continuing. And you can see 200 DMA on Netflix is at 277. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to have a bias in a certain direction. Perhaps Netflix you can use as a bias that we're going to have an continued upside bear market rally here. Now, IBM has earnings after the close today, and I don't know how influential IBM is anymore. I mean, $111 billion, but no one ever talks about it anymore. But it is one of the only notable big tech earnings that are happening. So maybe we can get a clue from IBM earnings, because now we're going into that dangerous period. I talked about this before. where we took out the excess liquidity out of the market, this whole COVID pop, all that fake money being pushed in. Now that's been being taken out. It was obviously a lot more clear in ARK, right? All that money's taken out of the system. And now we're basically back at where we should have been. So from here, where do we go? It's all about earnings, right? Are we going to have an earnings recession? How long is that earnings recession going to be? So market will look to IBM tonight and the next week or two, lots of big tech earnings coming. And that's going to determine, I think, whether this 200-week moving average is the bottom or if it was just a strong bounce off that support level and we keep going lower. So that's the story from a macro perspective. Now, while I was gone, we called out a couple great stocks to focus on. The top two I told you was Air and RELL. I'm like, buy these pullbacks, good opportunities when the market was really dumping last week. Air and RELL were good opportunities, and lo and behold, market did well, and Air rocketed to pretty much a 2022 closing high here. I think it was a 2022. I think it was a closing high, if not very close to a closing high, right up near the highs. And also got new coverage yesterday. I didn't see a price target. I'm sure a price target is out there somewhere from William Blair. So maybe someone can look that up for us or get access to that report. The other one is RELL. And we've been talking about this pounding the table on RELL since the earnings report. And we also noted the strong support at $18 right there, right? With that general, very common technical analysis of previous resistance is now support. It happened to the we gave you that last week, and we've been saying that at this point, you break $20, you head on over to the stock's all-time highs. You can't even see it on this chart. I have to look it up on my desktop, or you can look it up. But I think it's between $22 and $23 is the all-time highs. I think it's inevitable that we're going to challenge the all-time highs on RELL and probably pull back from there. But if it happens to break through, that's when you talk to Rex about supernova moves. So, but I would bet it pulls back at the all-time highs. Now, we may have a trading opportunity here in Rumble. There's a filing out this morning that I think retail is really getting confused. This is about, it looks like an offering. See, Rumble files to offer 8.1 million class shares underlying warrants. And there's other reports that are not here, but there's also a registration of like 300 million shares in total. And everyone thinks it's dilution. Everyone thinks, what happened to the lockup period? Now they're like voiding the lockup period. I don't think any of that's true. To me, my read of it, now I could be wrong. I'm not an expert in SEC filings, but what my cursory read of it is this is not a new offering. This is just registering the private shares of all the Rumble shareholders so that they can sell in the future. And it's registering shares for these Rumble warrants should people exercise these warrants in the future. And that's what's causing this down move here. Retail, and if you look at it, it's just a tsunami of comments that, oh, they're raising money, they screwed us, they tricked us. There's no more lockup period. Everyone's really pissed off. They're dumping their shares. Now it's still kind of above the fundamental value we've calculated with Chris Tuttle at SPACVest of about $5. So I've been talking about getting in at the $7 to $8 range for a trade. So today, potentially, there's going to be an opportunity to do that. Particularly maybe with the warrants, you can see them down 17%, 2 by 225. So maybe a trading opportunity here with recognition that it can still go lower because that fundamental price target is around $5. I don't think it's ever going to reach $5 because I think it's always going to have a sentiment premium in the stock. Thus, why I'm talking about like $7 to $8 as the area what I'd like to go over with trading shares. So that's the story with Rumble. VTSI had some news this morning, which looks like very interesting technologically wise. We're talking about on the VTSI research group. If you're not in there, you want to get in there. But some new technology that they're rolling out in collaboration with 40 Views. Interesting. I don't know. They may have been working on this for years. That's what I'm trying. The most recent comment I put in that room, I'm trying to figure out, has this been going on for years? The way they talk about it, it seems like this was something hush-hush they've been working on for a few years, and now it's available, it seems, maybe, but very interesting new technology, more immersive 3D experience for the training simulations for the cops and military. That's VTSI. Check that out. GOEV, while I was gone, they had news, another one. They're getting lots of orders, 3 big orders now in the past week. That it's starting to look like stacked catalysts here, and you have big high volume now. The problem is they have to raise money. There's nothing more I want than to fall in love with this stock, and really go gung-ho behind it. You can see it move from $2 to $5 after the Walmart deal and back down. The problem is they need to raise money, big money. So the question is, how do they get this money, right? If they can get this money in a non-dilutive way or on good terms without warrants or via partnership via Walmart, this stock, I think, can rocket, right? The question is, do you want to take a risk and get in a little bit before then? Maybe you want to, start tiptoeing in because it's pulled back so much. But again, if they don't get access to financing on favorable terms, this thing can dive a lot further. I'm trying to be optimistic and positive here that because of the relationship with Walmart, that somehow or another they're going to get financing on good terms to fund all of this, all of these deliveries, all of these orders they're getting. They have to now build these cars. It's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So very interesting story here with GOEV. I really am not in a position to say I think this is the bottom, but it could be. So maybe something I take a small position in now, but the time to pile in is if they raise money, look at the terms on how much money they're raising. Is it going to be enough? Will it have to raise again? Is it on good terms? Is it on bad terms? Is it dilutive? How dilutive it is? Is it, when that happens, and it will happen, they're going to have to show us financing. That could end up being the catalyst where we really pile into the stock. CANO, this is why I don't play M&A. Down 50%. I mean, M&A is there's so many risks there with rumors and fake rumors, and I don't know what happened. Did CVS pull out? Did CANO pull out? How do you say CANO Healthcare Health? CANO Health. So yeah, that's dead for now. But what's interesting is DRIO didn't really move down on CANO going down. I feel like I should be saying CANO, but I think CANO is more like GOV. That's CANO, double O, CANO Healthcare. So in any case, DRIO didn't go down, which shows you that this move up here, which some had speculated was because of buyout speculation, really had nothing to do with that. No impact at all from that deal falling apart. So that's an interesting piece of intelligence you now have about what moves the stock. Keep that in your, notebook here in your brain. What causes stocks to move up and down will give you a tremendous advantage in the future trading the stocks. So I jumped down to that. So I get XXII. Man, I really love the XXII story here. It's really compelling if management is being honest. If you haven't checked out the most recent presentation, you should. Now, while we're gone, I think they're presenting. Yeah, they announced they're presenting October 26th next week. That could be another catalyst for the stock. And then earnings are first week of November. Let's hope they don't turn out into liars and we get a catalyst between now and early November that they're rolling out to multiple new states. If you do, perhaps you break over this 50 DMA. Now, I gave you the target of the 50 DMA, and that's a great place to exit, right? So we hit it. I was looking for 125 to 130. What do we get to? 130. We hit 130 on the nose. If you're trading this from 1, I got in at 1. We gave the alert in the rooms at 1, up 25 to 30%. Probably a good time to get out. This can definitely pull back to 110, maybe even pull back all the way to 1 before it moves up again. Now, if you get a catalyst, that could cause it to break through and make a really strong move to potentially much higher levels, 150 to 187 and dropping right now, potentially when you get the next catalyst. But right now we're at a resistance level. It'll be interesting to see if it's possible break through it without a catalyst. I'm guessing not, but you never know because that presentation by management was so strong. So you'll make your own decision there, whether you want to sell at this current resistance level or sell some or hold on for a possible breakthrough at some point. EAR had a great day yesterday. This one, I'm not in it because I don't understand the complexities of what's going on with the rights offerings and the implication if there's some sort of vote that they're having trouble getting the votes for or something. And if it doesn't happen, the implications seem pretty ominous. So I really don't understand this. Monitoring it because I like the story here with the hearing aids now going OTC. And apparently yesterday, Tony put a note in a room that they had a patent issued yesterday. Maybe that was a spark for the move yesterday. I'm really not sure. And I'm sitting here watching it. And if you guys want to research it in the VIP community and let us know what you think, especially in connection with their cash runway in this offering, we'd definitely like to hear hear that. Clearfield and COMM had a couple great days. I think Clearfield had either it was new coverage or an upgrade. Chris put it in the room, Chris Tarbert. Forgot which one, but there was some good news that came out yesterday with the price target. Clearfield and COMM have been big winners. You can see COMM rebounded back to 12. So I think COMM has earnings coming up. Let's see if the data is here. November 3rd, and Clearfield is shortly after that. We have the Clearfield CEO coming on a week or so after the earnings call for our VIP program. Oh, we also have the DRIO, Rick Anderson coming on, president of DRIO coming on this Friday at 11:30 for our VIPs. DRIO's next. That'll be interesting. So in any case, these are two solid companies, recession-proof pretty much, recession-proof, making money, and the stocks are doing well. So these are the type of stocks I've been talking about that you want to pick up when the market's down. DRIO did not get the news. Definitely disappointed. Of course, it was good that we see it's not sensitive to what's happening with CANO. So we just have to wait. We'll have to wait. And man, if they don't deliver by November 1st, more headlines and catalysts, and I'd be worried for the stock. But we'll see. We're meeting with Rick Anderson Friday morning. Maybe he'll give us some clues. INMB up 10% this morning. I don't know the significance of this, but yeah, it looks good. Solid tumor efficacy. I'm in this for the Alzheimer's stuff, so feel free to hit up INMB room, Dan Carlson, see what he thinks about how important this tumor news is. What's the volume this morning? 12,000 shares up 10%. So that's INMB and 763. It's already pretty much at a resistance level. Maybe a good spot to sell some if you have it at around 768 right there, the 50 DMA. So nice spot, possibly sell some, but I really don't know the importance of that news. So I might actually go after this show and sell some INMB there at the 50. PET, this was just a trade, low float, had a bunch of analyst coverage. Personally, I got in at 3, had a sell order 330, you made 10%. So, hey, it could keep on going, but, I haven't researched the fundamentals. If you guys want to research that, let us know what you think of the fundamentals. SPRC, just basically a technical trade for me. It hasn't taken off, so we'll see with that. KMPH, I put an article in one of the rooms on Adderall, and Adderall usage exploding after COVID-19 and a shortage of Adderall out there. That could potentially help KMPH if there's a shortage of Adderall. It's the second article I've seen on the homepage of Daily Mail in the last couple of weeks on Adderall shortage. So that's becoming potentially interesting for KMPH, and still waiting for talk. Not really impacted by what happened with CANO Health deal. It's steady. Talk and DRIO are pretty steady, so not really a premium in those stocks. I'm waiting for a potential catalyst with both with Talk alongside DRIO, maybe to sell those. So that's all I had scheduled to talk about over here. Let's see if there's any other big pre-market movers we should mention. I don't really see anything that stands out. Let's just order by INMB. Netflix, we talked about. DRIO, DermTech, maybe a little bit of news there. I don't know. October 13th, don't see anything. So that's all we got going. One last check now over here, and let's see if anything came in. Rockley Photonics completes human study demonstrating intra-subject tracking against standard blood pressure cuff utilizing non-invasive cuffless and laser-based device. You can take a look at that, man. That stock is like dead. It's like 50 cents. GOEV Canuta announced third quarter 2022 financial results. So this could be event anticipation running into November 9th, possibly. So look at that. And that's all we got. So thanks for joining us today. 4:30 we'll be on Zoom for a weekly meetup, and then Friday 11:30 a.m. we have our interview with Rick Anderson. Have a great day, folks. See you in the rooms.